we have already started making changes. We're thinking about implementing a salad bar.
Please welcome the 16th Surgeon General of the United States and the chair for the 2012 GENYOUth Nutrition and Physical Activity Learning Connection Summit, Dr. David Satcher.
Well, good morning. I'm delighted to be here, to be a part of this very important conference, and I want to welcome all of you that have come together here from all over the country, from California and Arizona, Colorado, Texas, Georgia, Alabama, Rhode Island, Maine, and all those states in between. We have people represented here. I am very impressed with the people who've come together. It's really a tremendous team. We have students, we have teachers, we have parent organizations, we have businesses, CEOs of businesses. We have philanthropists. We have government leaders. We have a tremendous group of people who've gathered here. And we're here because we have one thing in common. We care about children. We care about their health. And we care about their learning. So that's what's brought us together here, is this common theme of caring about children. At the Satcher Health Leadership Institute, which I had in Atlanta at Morehouse School of Medicine, we have a motto, and it is that in order to eliminate disparities in health, we need leaders who first care enough. Then we need leaders who know enough, leaders who have the courage to do enough, and then we need leaders who will persevere until the job is done. And I think that's what's represented in this room today, that kind of leadership, people who care, who are committed, and who are determined to see this struggle through. And what is this struggle that we are here to talk about? As Surgeon General, I had the opportunity to release several reports dealing with the health of the American people. And of course, one of the things you worry about when you're Surgeon General is whether or not your reports will end up on the shelf gathering dust. But certainly in December of 2001, we released a report, the Surgeon General's report, on reducing and preventing overweight and obesity. Just a short side story. Last week, of course, we remembered 9/11/01. And on that day, even though there were 6,500 people reporting to me or through me, members of the Commission Corps, we lost one person. And of course, that was too many, but we lost one person, and that person was Paul Ambrose. Paul was 32 years old. He was a physician from West Virginia, determined to go back to West Virginia to practice medicine, gone to medical school at Dartmouth and School of Public Health at Harvard. But Paul was headed to California for a childhood obesity conference in Los Angeles. He had coordinated our effort to develop a Surgeon General's report on overweight and obesity. And Paul was on that flight 77, I believe, that ended up at the Pentagon. So Paul Ambrose died that day, ending a tremendous life and a very promising career. But he's here today because a lot of what we do and the energy with which we do it is related to the character and energy of Paul Ambrose. This may be the first conference we've had like this where his parents were not able to attend, but they have been really attentive to this task just as we have. Well, we recognize that as a nation we have a problem. We had already pointed out in 1996 that physical activity had decreased dramatically throughout America, and that over a 5-year period, the number of schools, the percentage of schools doing physical education, K through 12, had dropped from about 50% to about 29%. So we were concerned. We were also concerned in 1996 that there seemed to be a trend of increasing overweight and obesity. And then, of course, as we continued to follow this, as I went to Washington as Surgeon General, we saw that dramatic increase. So when we released my report, we called obesity an epidemic. And we had never referred to a non-infectious disease as an epidemic before. But I think you can understand why we did that, since we noted that between 1980 and 2000, the problem of overweight and obesity had tripled among children in this country, and of course double among adults. And so we thought that there was no question about the fact that that was an epidemic. Now, maybe we were wrong in the sense that we didn't recognize at that time that it was really a pandemic, that this same trend was taking place all over the world. I don't think anybody has caught up with the United States yet in terms of overweight and obesity, but clearly all over the world we're seeing this pattern. So I think we are here today because overweight and obesity is a serious problem, a serious concern. We know it's associated with an increase in diabetes, increase in heart disease and cancer, increase in asthma, increase certainly in arthritis and several other health problems. So overweight and obesity is something to be concerned about. We also know, of course, that children who are overweight or obese by the age of 12 are very likely to be overweight and obese as adults. 80% of the children who are overweight and obese at the age of 12 are going to be that way as adults. And so that's the nature of our concern. But we also are here today for a very positive reason. And not just that we have a problem, because certainly we have a problem, but we also have hope. We have hope. And that hope is based on several things. The hope is based on, number one, you're here, and all over the country, people are working to ameliorate this problem. We've also, of course, learned a lot since 2001. In 2004, we had started an organization with the National Dairy Council, especially. We started an organization called Action for Healthy Kids soon after I left government. And in 2004, Action for Healthy Kids released a report called The Learning Connection. The first report showing this trend of a connection between healthy lifestyles, physical activity, good nutrition, physical education, the connection between that and learning, that children who ate a good breakfast learned better, they were more disciplined in class. And that was a very hopeful finding in 2004. And as you know, in 2004, Congress also passed the wellness policy and basically said to schools that if you receive federal funds for free lunch or free breakfast within 2 years, you should have in place policies for providing physical education K through 12 and good nutrition. And of course, what happened was that the overwhelming majority of schools had those policies in place within 2 years. The problem was they were not implementing them. And even today as we gather here, many of those schools are not implementing them. There are many reasons. It's not easy. We know that. Education is certainly not easy. And as a nation, we can do a lot better job in supporting education, in supporting teachers, in supporting parents. So it's not easy, but we know that in the face of other priorities and constraints, schools have not, in fact, implemented those policies. Some of those constraints are financial, and that says something about us and whether or not we think this is important enough to make sure the funds are in place so that our children can have the education they need, including the physical activity and good nutrition. So that's why we're here, because not only because we know that there are great indications of this association between physical activity, good nutrition, and learning, we also know that we need to learn more about it. So I think we've learned more since 2004, and today I think we have the advantage of hearing from people who've been on the front lines of research in this area. So we're going to learn much more today about where we are with this connection between physical activity, good nutrition, and learning. But I hope something else is going to happen here today, and I'm confident that it will because of the kind of people who are in this room. We're going to gather some new momentum here today, really come together as a team with new momentum, and we're going to reinvigorate our effort and each other so that when we leave here, we'll be prepared to really move forward with this agenda of promoting the learning connection. So that's why we're here, and that's the hope that we have as we gather here today. It's the hope that we will stay the course and that our children will benefit tremendously because of it, and of course that our nation will benefit because our nation suffers greatly from this epidemic of overweight and obesity. I don't have to tell you that more than 30% of people going to enlist in the armed services are now not accepted because of problems with overweight and obesity. And it goes on, the outcome of this problem. So we're here because we love our children and we love our country, and we want to do the best we can to move forward in terms of health. Well, I learned a poem when I was a student at Morehouse, and nobody knew who wrote it. I think I heard the president's first say it. It's called God's Minute. And it goes, I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, can't refuse it, didn't seek it, didn't choose it. Yet it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, and yet eternity is in it. So it is important how we use our time. You know, I don't think there's any easy explanation for the fact that the GENYOUth Foundation started less than 2 years ago, and the fact that we're here today because of the GENYOUth Foundation. And a lot of other things are happening throughout the country. Fuel Up to Play 60. The GENYOUth Foundation, a foundation supported by the National Dairy Council and National Football League and others, has just done a tremendous job. But it's hard to explain that, and I think the best explanation is Alexis Glick, whom you will hear from very shortly. She doesn't need a long introduction from me. She is the CEO of the GENYOUth Foundation, but she came to the foundation with a tremendous background. Now, she's going to tell you that the most important part of that is that she's a mother of 4 children, and the youngest child, the first daughter, was just born recently. But Alexis Glick has a tremendous commitment to our children and a tremendous love for our children, but she's also very well prepared. And some of you know her because of her business background. Some of you know her because you've seen her on TV and the tremendous roles she's played on Fox television and others. But and her introduction, of course, is included in your program. But just let me say, I am delighted to be able to welcome to the podium the CEO of GENYOUth Foundation, Alexis Glick.
so much, Dr. Satcher. He's a tough act to follow, but as many of you have heard me say in the room, either last night or in past meetings, I have a bit of a crush on Dr. Satcher. And in fact, as I've said to Dr. Satcher repeatedly, when I was first recruited to, at one point, join a board of directors of the creation of a new foundation, and then found out 10 days later that they wanted me to be the CEO of it, I was a bit afraid. Yes, I am a mother of 4, but I didn't know very much about this issue. And so what I did is I kind of went back to my college days and studied an untenable amount of hours reading and reading and reading. And I think I've made everyone in this room my friend because I wanted to understand the issue as best I could. And in fact, it was that Learning Connection report that Dr. Satcher authored in 2004 that I just couldn't stop reading and rereading when I first came to the foundation. And the reason I kept reading and rereading it is I thought to myself, I'm a mother. I'm a mother of 4 children. And I didn't know that there was a scientific connection between nutrition, physical activity, and academic behavior and performance. And so as a mother, I just felt compelled. Why don't I know about it? And how can I get smarter about it? And that was the first conversations back in early spring of last year that, in fact, led to this summit here today. So my warmest appreciation and thanks to Dr. David Satcher and all those folks in this room who have helped me get smarter and hopefully help us get smarter today. But most importantly, I want to thank you all for coming here and joining us on this great occasion. As you know, it takes a village to do this, so there are some people in this room that I cannot express with enough of my deep felt heart and thanks for all the time and effort. They've worked tirelessly for the past 6 months, so to see you all in this room is such a great fruit of their labor and hopefully of all the wonderful things that will come out of this summit today. So I have many old friends here, and I have many new friends here from last night when we did some workout activity. I'm still trying to recover. I mean, doing that with 4 NFL players. The good news is that Darryl Green looked at me and he's like, who is this woman, Holly? And do you actually work out with her? And believe it or not, I do, but I do that in spin classes where she can't point me out specifically and say, Glick, move faster, like she was doing last night. Anyhow, so I'm thrilled to have you all here. As we mentioned, and Dr. Satcher talked briefly about, it was really our dream to put together in this room a key group of influentials. And so as you're sitting at your tables, you're going to find that the person sitting next to you could be someone from education. It could be someone from nutrition. It could be someone from the fitness world. It could be someone from corporate America. It was done intentionally. We feel that in order to solve this crisis, we need to do it together, and no one of us can solve this crisis alone. So today, we hope we will get to know the science behind the learning connection. We'll go deeper. Hopefully we'll understand what are those hurdles that we need to overcome and what are those sustainable solutions that we can take away from today and implement and put into our schools and help resonate within our communities, because the reason we're all here is because of the kids in our lives, the generations of kids that we want to have an impact on. It is critical that these kids be at the center of this conversation. And as you'll see throughout the day, they will be a focal point, and you'll hear from them directly, and you're going to hear from one of them in just a moment. The good news, I think, is that what we've learned is the news is encouraging, to Dr. Satcher's point. We've made tremendous progress. I can see it just in the 18 months that I've been doing this. It's tremendous to see. I think Dr. Von Maddox said yesterday, if you Google childhood obesity, the number of articles that you see are tremendous. The searches are amazing. I mean, just this morning, my husband's at home, and he's sending me the latest F is in fat report. So the news is we're getting a lot of reverberations and noise and sound and awareness building, and hopefully more and more comes of this. So we've made tremendous progress, but we also have a lot of work to do. So we're going to get down to that work. As a matter of fact, this afternoon I'm going to join you. We're going to spend some time all of us in this room looking at what the solutions are that we can do both in our workplace and in our communities. So you'll see in your folders, I just want you guys to know there's session notes inside all of your folders. Please take those out throughout the day. Write down your key takeaways, your observations, some potential solutions that you think we should be considering. And later on this afternoon, we'll review those possible solutions and key takeaways and share them with one another. So I am going to, without further ado, kick this off. And I'm going to kick it off with my good friend and someone I think you'll be remarkably impressed with, Emma Buckhannon.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Emma Buckhannon, and I'm a sophomore at Patrick Henry High School in Glade Spring, Virginia. I recently finished my term as a National Student Ambassador for the Fuel Up to Play 60 program, and now I serve as an Alumni Ambassador and a mentor to the new student leaders. Through my work in this program, I've realized that maintaining a healthy weight and healthy habits is not a battle that's won overnight. It takes a huge number of people, time, and effort to make any types of healthy changes happen. Thankfully, there are students all across the nation who are passionate about this and are leading their peers along the way. I started my work with the program in my 7th grade year. At the time, I was only worried about the incentives and the prizes that Fuel Up to Play 60 offered. I didn't realize until later that the real prize that Fuel Up to Play 60 offers is nothing that can be put in a package. Instead, that gift includes a healthier, happier, and less stressed you. With this realization, I was more excited than ever to get the message that living a healthy life out to everyone. I took the initiative and I set out to get my fellow students involved. Last year, I was speaking to a group of elementary students at their back-to-school kickoff event, and I was talking to them about the benefits of eating healthy and living a healthy life. The next week, I got a stack of letters in the mail, and they were all from those students at the elementary school with comments and questions about how they can live a healthy life and be exercising more too. My favorite one, though, that spoke the greatest to me was from a 3rd grader named Lincoln. She said, "Dear Emma, thank you for coming to our school and talking about being healthy. I really like it. One day, I hope I can tell other people about it because eating well and playing was what all the kids my age should do." When I read that letter, I was surprised, and it really struck me that all kids want something to be passionate about. And programs like Fuel Up to Play 60 and the program I started with, Girls on the Run, offer the perfect outlet for them to express themselves. I've gotten amazing opportunities through these programs to speak at conferences across the nation, to dairy farmers on TV and other forms of media, and to the students in my community as well. And by seeing what I've done and what they can do as well, the students are excited and they want to participate in this fight for a healthy life. The kids today are our nation's future. They are the people who will be making our policies and leading the students and teaching them as well. And they need to be healthy to do so, but they need your help. Give them your time and just for a few minutes every day, go outside and play with them. Give them your advice and let the life you live be an example for all the students. And most importantly, support them. Just a little bit of encouragement can go a very long way. It is predicted that my generation will be the first not to outlive our parents. But if we as a nation can join together and fight for this goal of healthiness, childhood obesity can be a problem of the past. I'm so honored that I can be part of this all and that what I'm doing is contributing to the effort of making a healthier generation. But I'm especially proud of all the students that are just as passionate about healthy living as I am and that they're out there on the front serving our country well. Thank you.